Hey everybody, I am David and today is my DC recap. That's right, every Thursday I am going to be talking about all the DC shows that air Mondays to Wednesdays. That would be Gotham, Supergirl on Mondays, Flash and Legends on Tuesdays, and yesterday was Arrow. So with that, I'm not going to be doing Powerless because the first episode was meh. And so I decided it's not worth talking about in this group. These are the ones that I think I am more interested in than anything else right now from DC on TV. Like iZombie, and they have, I think Lucifer's DC also, right? I haven't even bothered watching that. It's not in my wheelhouse. But with that being said, we are going to talk about these ones. And so let's get into the first show, Supergirl, because Gotham wasn't on this week, so Supergirl was on this week. It's only the CW shows this time. And we have Supergirl Season 2, Episode 11, The Martian Chronicles. And I am going to say that this was a really great episode. I actually, I'm going to admit, John Jones is a great character, the Martian Manhunter. We got to see him and Miss Martian kicking some ass together, which I'm going to admit, I geeked out big time on that part. Yeah, this was a really great episode. I really enjoyed it, and I thought everything was great. It's not my favorite Supergirl episode. I did think the beginning kind of dragged a bit, but for the most part, you know what? How can you not geek out whenever Martian Manhunter shows his true form? You know, I had to suffer through 10 years of Smallville. I didn't suffer through it because I love Smallville, but when they had the Martian Manhunter on that show, played by Phil Morris, I believe his name was, there was only one episode out of his entire appearance where we finally got to see him in his green form. It was just for like a brief second. I kid you not. It was in the episode Absolute Justice. It was with two-parter, and Dr. Fate, I was going to say Strange, Dr. Fate briefly turns him into his green Martian form, and that was the only time in the entire whatever episodes he guest starred on. Maybe it was like 12 episodes throughout the entire series. And yeah, he never turned into Martian Manhunter again. We just had to use our imaginations on that's how he really looks, but he's just in human form the entire time. The CW Supergirl series, and when it was on CBS too, they have given us more than we can ask for with this character. And to see Miss Martian at the same time, both of them kicking ass together, fighting this white Martian, I mean, that was pretty cool. And I like the episode in general, how it all took place. Not all, but like most of it, the majority of the episode, felt like kind of alien-ish, you know? Like Aliens with Sigourney Weaver, because it involved the characters trying to look for this white Martian that has infiltrated their base of operations. And the alien creature was able to transform into any of them and trick them. There was that really cool scene with Wynn where they didn't know that Wynn was the White Martian, that the White Martian had disguised himself as Wynn. And so when they found out, because they all had to put their hand near the fire, that it was... I wasn't expecting it to be Wynn myself because he was acting really calm. I thought it was going to be... it's going to be I think it was the Asian guy, because he was acting too nervous and stuff like that. Yeah, really good episode. And next on the list, we got The Flash, Season 3, Episode 12, Untouchable. And yeah, I really enjoyed this episode too. It really gave us a lot more focus on Wally and Barry's relationship in this episode, how Barry is going to mentor Wally, which I think is really cool. I like Wally. I think, you know, he had to be a little bit careful in his first couple of episodes, because when you go against the main character, you're going to lose some points there in the beginning, at least for me. I can't speak for everybody. So when Wally started getting more into the group, I think the character for me started getting more interesting, and I liked seeing this dynamic between both Kid Flash and the Flash in this episode between Wally and Barry. Other than the villain, I think this was a pretty enjoyable episode. I really liked it. Now we got Arrow. Arrow Season 5, Episode 12. Oh, sorry guys. Legends of Tomorrow, Season 2, Episode 11, Turncoat. And I kid you not, I think this episode was really good. I think it could be one of my favorite episodes of Legends of Tomorrow to date so far. Rip Hunter going evil, like, was, or not well, I guess he is evil now, right? Like, what the heck's going on with him? Some people think that this had to do something with whatever Merlin and Damien Dark and Eobard Thawne had did to him when they had him captured. They were messing with his mind and shit. Which, yeah, it could be, but it seemed like he remembers everything. And, you know, we've seen Rip make certain sacrifices before against the team, but we haven't seen him go to that extent where he'd even kill his friends. And he killed Sarah in this episode, and I didn't think that was going to happen. I thought when, you know, Jax and Rip were having that conversation, you know, come on, man, she's your friend. You can't do this. And then Rip just kills her, snaps her neck, I think. That was, like, crazy. I wasn't believing it. And I really liked the chemistry in this episode between all the characters. Like, Nate and Vixen had some really nice scenes together. You know, I thought their chemistry was really working for me in this episode. I think all the characters had really great moments. There was the stuff where the special effects in this episode were really good too, especially like when Ray was shrunk, and you see it was almost like Ant-Man, not as good as Ant-Man, but for what the CW usually does, this was some pretty cool stuff that they were doing. Yeah, it was a really good episode, especially from last week's episode. Both these, you know, Legends of Tomorrow, if you are someone that gave up on it, I highly recommend to go back and check it out, because Season 2 is so much better than Season 1 so far. Give Season 2 a little bit of time to set things up, because once they get into the Legion stuff, the Legion of Doom, once that reveal starts to happen, that's where things get really good and more fun this season. They embrace the goofiness and go with it. So at times, yeah, it can be a little goofy and campy, but there are times where they know to tone it down. Like in this episode, the dramatic stuff was really great, especially the interaction between Jax and Rip. I like that ending there where Jax wants to shoot Rip for what he just did, but Sarah calms him down and, you know, put down the gun. Jax, just put it down, you know, and they have to let him go. And you can see the torture in his eyes, because this was someone that put these guys together, and now he's betraying them. And it felt like how I felt when Harrison Wells turned on Team Flash back in Season 1 of The Flash, when that big reveal happened and he revealed himself to be the bad guy. I felt it was like that all over again. Now we get into Arrow. Season 12, Bratva. Season 5, sorry, Episode 12, Bratva. I'm messing up all the days and numbers and whatever. So, yeah, this episode was really good. I really enjoyed it. The flashbacks are strong again. I did a whole review on that. But I will say I really did like all the Russia stuff, that they went back to Russia. The last time they were there in the present day was in Season 2 of Arrow, where we got to see Antonelli there as well. And so they kind of left some stuff open, though, there for maybe that character to return, because it seems like he's not going to let Oliver off the hook that easily. Will that come into effect this season, or will that be something for maybe Season 6 to handle? The show doesn't always have to rush into things, and I hope they know that, especially if they're going to continue for as long as they will. And something I forgot to mention yesterday in my review, so I'll mention it right now, is I really that little twist at the end. There was a little twist where we find out that Oliver's new girlfriend, who's the reporter, she, after sleeping with Oliver, she apparently is finding evidence that Oliver might be the Green Arrow. I was like, whoa. And I couldn't believe I forgot to mention that yesterday, but there's always something I'm always forgetting to talk about. But yeah, that is going to be something really interesting for things to come. Will that all be revealed next week? I don't know, because I don't watch the next week promos, because sometimes CW tends to reveal too much in that. So if you know, don't tell me. I'll find out next Wednesday. And but for the most part, I really dig this episode. I heard a interview with Mark Guggenheim that Dolph Lundgren will be back, and I really can't wait to see him return, because the last time his character was on the show, you could feel that this guy was going to be something threatening. So they have to take care of that character, and I want to see more of him. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to tell you now what I thought the best episode was of the week and the worst episode. So there's only 4 DC shows right now. So I'm going to say the least favorite. I'm not going to say worst, because I think all the shows were really good this week. But if I had to pick my least favorite, I'm probably going to go with The Flash. I love The Flash, guys, a lot. If you know me, Flash and Arrow are my top 2 of all the DC shows. But yeah, Flash had the weakest one this week. Mostly because I felt the villain didn't work for me. Where now we go into the best episode of the week, which was also on Tuesday nights, Legends of Tomorrow. I thought Legends of Tomorrow had the best episode this week. I kid you not, I really was on the edge of my seat, loving every minute of it. Especially when Rip Hunter, what was revealed about him, I was mind blown, and I couldn't believe it. And everything worked for me in the episode. I was not disappointed once. I can't even think of a flaw right now that I had with the episode. I even like the George Washington stuff that was going on, that they had to make. Oh, and the opening with Mick was just, that alone was like perfect. That you could never get. Mick Rory needs to do more of those narrations. Give us more Mick narrating. That's all I have to say on that. So with that being said, guys, Legends of Tomorrow was the best this week. Flash, to me, was the weakest, but it was still really good and entertaining. So until next week, take care.